Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Fractured Realities. I am your host, Jay Warner. And recently, I've done a few videos about, the veil thinning and the changes on our Earth and the changes within our reality. And I also said that it's sometimes very, very difficult to stay positive in this, land of confusion and the seeming chaos that's engulfing us right now. But that's not to say that great things aren't happening, that positive changes aren't coming about. Okay. Okay. Here's my prime example. And this is something that I thought was beautiful. Okay. With all the political divisions in the world, and I apologize right now, by the way. Usually when I film my videos, my daughters keep the animals in a room with them. So I got three little furry bastards running around that'll probably hear some meows and a couple barks. But yeah, those aren't phantom animals. Those are actually my critters or my sons. But anyway, back to the point. Recently, the developments in France are a prime example of something that, amidst the chaos and the confusion of our lives, something positive happened. And if anybody understands me and knows my stances, they know that I stand 100% against globalism. Anything that involves me having to bend the knee and give up my free will is absolutely out of the question. Not going to happen. Whether that be a religion, whether that be a political party or a group of any sort. See, I don't believe in a group think. I believe in individuality and individual thought. That's not to say that people cannot come together and create great things. So recently, the president of France getting on this global warming initiative tried to charge like a huge gas tax on the people of France. This is mostly for the Americans who don't pay attention to anything other than the Trump bashing, insane old fucking media here. But yeah, they tried to impose a gas tax. And, a lot of times in my life, France is just, it's frustrating. I'm not really mad at the French people, but they've been led down a path of destruction. I mean, well, not complete, but replacement of their population. You have this like socialist globalist agenda, and they seem to buy it. They had a chance to elect Maria Le Pen, and they refused, and instead they picked the globalist cuck fucking Ken doll with a mommy fetish. Just I'm sorry, but Macron is nothing but a stuffed suit. That's my opinion. You're not going to change it. Anyway, well, there was the Yellow Jacket movement, where just a bunch of people from the right, left, center, all got together and said, no, we're not going to pay, what would be in American dollars, probably $4 a gallon more for gas. And they protested. They got together. This was not something with a political stance. This wasn't something that was right or left. This was people coming together. They did. And it was great. They took in and one of them actually got a front end loader and dumped a bunch of shit on the front of the French Parliament building. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. And the part that really warmed my soul and gave me help, or gave me hope for the future of Europe and the future of humanity, is when I saw those police officers stand in front and take their helmets off, and basically, tell their own government, uh, Bate Fair Food Tray. Okay, and yeah, I googled that shit, so it's probably pronounced wrong, but any of you French folks probably know exactly what I said. But yeah, they stood up to the oppressors. They stood up to the government that without representation, without a vote, without their they said you're going to do this for the betterment of everybody, and it's bullshit. They want to make money so that they can push more of their immigrant replacement agenda. Yes, there are immigrants who go from war torn countries, but the majority of these people that are coming over into Europe are they're not asylum seekers, they're welfare seekers, they're social system seekers. And they do not gel. I mean, I'm not going to go into it. I could do a whole video on this and it would turn into a rant. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it positive. But the rapes, the stabbings, the murders, the terrorist attacks, the overall, even historical replacement of the white population. How when you watch things on Netflix or on HBO, you watch something about like the show Vikings or Helen and Troy or any of these types of shows. There's always minority characters replacing them, and it's not to say that minorities, especially black people, don't make up a great significant part of the population, but in the past, no, that was not historically accurate. And it's, white people have been condemned and told that we're bad because 400 years ago, some people with the same skin shade as us did bad things in our country, even 200 years ago. And I'm not saying that those things didn't happen. Those things did happen. We did horrible things, but that's not we as a whole. That's our ancestors. That's history. And if you go back through the history of any culture, any race, any religion, there are atrocities. It's not just the Caucasians who commit these. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on that. But anyway, and that's what the real issue is in France. They want to raise the money because they're going broke. There's garbage in the streets of Paris. There's tents. There's homeless everywhere. It's a shit show. So what do? They try to once again stick it to the working class people in France and raise taxes on their fuel. It's not like the homeless people drive. It's not like they're the ones going around. But so you're gonna and no, they rebel and vive la France. Congratulations, Germany, Great Britain, Spain, Italy. Take note. Take note. You don't have to just sit there and submit. The will of the people and mob rule will make them change their mind. All you had was a few people in safety vests, and they have the elitists in their country shitting in their pants. So, like I said, Europe, take note. You do not have to submit. You do not have to bend. You can get your voice heard. You are important, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your nationality, regardless of your country's history. You are important. Your voice matters, whether it's the right, whether it's the left. And this whole division thing is divide and conquer. But I'm starting to see people broach over, right wingers who are broaching over and saying, okay, maybe we need to take God out of the equation, and left wingers that are saying, okay, maybe this whole globalist open borders thing isn't the greatest thing on earth. You don't have to go party lines one way or the other. We can come together as people worldwide, and we can fight the oppression that we face. And like I said, France was just the opening gambit. I think that there's going to be a lot more now, especially in the UK. They keep pushing the globalist agenda, throwing people in jail for saying mean things on Twitter. The hate speech laws are ludicrous, and they are just, you can only stamp on the people so long. We're talking about people with Celtic blood and people with Anglo-Romantic, and you're not going to just continue to kick these people in the teeth and tell them it's for their own good. Eventually, you're going to see a rise up in Great Britain, and I hope that it's not too late. I mean, things there are pretty bad, but they can be improved. And like I said, I have discourse with people who are, semi, globalists, leftists, and rightists the same. I don't have any problem having discourse with Republicans, with Democrats, with Christians, with Muslims, whoever, just as long as they're respectful to me and they have an open idea. You are open to new ideas. You're into expanding your mind, not just pushing your agenda. Now, I have had some pushback this week. I had one friend of mine who's a fellow YouTuber, and no, I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to promote anybody on here. But he tried to post a provocative post. He's just looking for clickbait and for arguments, saying, I don't believe that Kennedy was truly assassinated. I don't believe in a 9/11 conspiracy. If you believe that the Earth is a globe, you're an idiot, and several other things. And some of the things I agreed with him about, like the 9/11 conspiracy. I lived through it. I was there. I remember it all vividly, and I remember the shock of people's faces. Even Bush, when he was reading the story to the kids. I don't believe that was an inside job, at least not by the Bush administration. I don't, that's pretty far fetched. That's a zero sum game. That set our country back years and years and years and led to a recession. That wasn't a planned event. Maybe by the globalists, perhaps, but not by the Bush administration. So yeah, I agreed with that one. And to say that the Kennedy assassination didn't happen, that was a staged event. We didn't have that sort of. If you go back and you look at the movies from the 1960s, there wasn't that sort of special effects. I mean, they couldn't have done that in a crowd with thousands of people standing around. That's, the man died. Do I believe that was a single gunman? No, absolutely not. Obviously, he was shot with at different angles, but I don't think it was a fake or staged event. So yeah, I said that, and he didn't seem to have any problems with that. And then I said, and well, you talk about the flat Earth. Well, I personally, I've climbed a mountain. I've been out in a boat in a large body of water, and I've flown in a plane. So those are three different occasions when I have literally seen the curvature of the Earth. And they came back at me with, you have to be 120,000 kilometers. No, you don't. I don't know where that science came from, but that's not true. At 25,000, if you're in a 737 or above, and you're at 25,000 feet, you can clearly see the curvature of the Earth. And yeah, I've heard the whole argument about the bubble window, looking out the window. And yeah, they got violent. He actually told me that I was a liar, that I didn't see those things. I don't know what I'm talking about. And he got violent, but that's all right. I like I said, I remained positive. I'm like, okay, you can believe what you want, but I know what I've seen. And he deleted me and went on a long rant and tirade about me, and that's fine, whatever. He can believe what he wants to believe. But, there comes a point, man, when as a truther, you have to pick and choose your battles. And it seems like a lot of the people in the truther movement seem to grasp onto whatever is popular, whatever's clickbaity, whatever's going to get them views. And a prime example is this whole mud flood thing. And I'm not going to go into it in depth debunking this because Thomas Sheridan on Open Occult Arts, he did a great video about it and explained to them, that they say, oh, this building has windows, but it's on the side of a hill. Yeah, we built from the basement up. But look at these mud roads. Yeah, most towns back in the 1800s did in fact have dirt roads. That doesn't mean that their theory is that somebody opened this dome, so this kind of goes in with the flat Earth, and they pour mud, or somehow they heat the core of the Earth to where this mud rises and just floods everything out and destroys mankind. But I don't see any kind of proof of that. It's easily debunkable, but this is the new rage, the mud flood theory and our hidden history, and it's clickbaity. I mean, they get way more views than I could ever dream of being, but it's clickbait. And in a few years from now, when people realize how off base this is, just like the flat Earth theory, that in case people didn't know, I got to get the man's exact name, but there was a YouTuber probably about 7 or 8 years ago who did a joke where he was poking fun at some of the people in the truther movement, saying that, yeah, the Earth is flat, and he did all this scientific evidence to prove that it was flat. It was a joke video, it was a parody, but people bought this hook, line, and sinker. And this is a distraction technique. This is, hey, look over here. you know. Um, but hey, if you're a flat earther, that's great. I haven't seen proof of it. I've seen proof otherwise, so I'm going to stick with the round globe theory. And plus, all you got to do is just go on to any airline thing. You can. How long does it take to fly from Japan to California? What's it, about 6.5, 7 hours? How would that be possible if we were in this round globe and Japan's over here and California's over here? That would mean that you would have to fly all the way out and around. Or Siberia, which is right above Alaska over here, comes down from the southwest. But if you look on the flat Earth globe model over here, they'd have to fly all the way around. It's not a 48-hour flight. It's a, well, it's 60 minutes. It's that in itself proves that the Earth is in fact round. And for me, that's enough proof. That's all I need. Call me a delusional idiot. Call me whatever. I'm just going to keep smiling. I don't care. You're not hurting my feelings. So yeah, and I actually posted a response to this on my Facebook page, and I had what one of my harshest critics, a friend of mine who is a fundamentalist. I mean, fundamentalist Christian, and he had a report. And I also had one of my friends who's a leftist from Great Britain who I argue with, but they both agree. That the flat Earth is basically a psyop. It's something to keep the truther movement divided. And that was a great feeling for me. That's what I said. Good things are happening. People are opening their eyes. And like I said, if you are a fundamentalist Christian, make the difference yourself. Go out and do something great. Don't post about things on Facebook and tell people how you're making a difference or how they're going to hell, or spreading the Talmudic, archonic, fear mongering thing. Make the difference. If you truly read the books of Christ and his works, which I have read, I've read the entire Bible as well as the Torah, the Talmud, the Kabbalah, the Hadiths. I've read the books of Islam. I've read the Quran. I've read the Vedas. I don't look at religion or philosophy from one point of view. I see it from many points, but Christianity is a religion of peace and a religion of tolerance. Christ showed his followers. He did not tell his followers, do this, bend your knee, or else you'll suffer the eternal fires of hell and damnation. He showed them how to do things the right way and the proper way. So if you're going to follow a Christian model, don't point fingers at this person and say that they're Satanists and that they have this Illuminati agenda. Simply make the change, man. Go out and do something nice. Go feed a homeless person. Bring a homeless person over for dinner. Help somebody out. You know, open the door for a little old lady. You know, do something. Show the world that you're a positive person. And a lot of my Christian friends do just that. They're not the God Squad. They're not preaching to people. They're going out and they're living that life by their philosophy, and they're helping people. And they're just some of the most beautiful people that I know. I might not agree with their philosophy, but that doesn't mean that they're not good people. They are good people. And even the ones who are fear mongering, they think, and some part of their mind that they're trying to help the world, you know, and they're trying to save souls with the fear mongering, burn in hell, Satanist, you know, mantra. But sorry, like I said, my animals are kind of crude. I hope nobody caught that. Anyway, you know, be Christian, but really read the book, really read the scriptures, and don't follow the path, be the path. That's my advice for my Christian friends. And as far as my friends in the UK or others, look what's happening in France. Those were people from all statuses, from all classes, from all races who came together and fought oppression, and they won. They won, and so can you. Europe. You don't have to be part of this globalist lemming philosophy where you have to hate your race, you have to hate your history, you have to dismiss your culture and bring in every culture in the world. You don't have to give up who you are. And no, I'm no far rightist, I'm no neo-Nazi, I'm not even full Caucasian, I have Native American blood, but this is, you don't have to be ashamed to be a white person. I don't care if somebody doesn't like that, delete me, get mad, but there's no shame. I have no shame for what my ancestors did. And just like the African Americans or modern day Africans shouldn't have shame about the millions of people that the Zulu tribe slaughtered and murdered and everything else. They shouldn't have the guilt over their history. The Japanese shouldn't have guilt over what they did during World War II, and neither should Caucasians. It's an individual merit system. You know, if you want your soul to grow, you grow your soul personally, not as a group. You grow your soul personally. You live the life that you're supposed to lead, and let people judge you according to that. It shouldn't be about color. It shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't be about history. It's about you. It's about what's in here and what's in here. Like I said, once again, be the change, and people are starting to wake up to that. That's what I said. Great positivity. And another thing that a lot of the groups that I'm in and a lot of the groups that I've been discussing, here's where my political friends and everybody will probably tune out and think that I'm crazy. So, you know, Twilight Zone alert. Boop, boop. This is going to get pretty far out. But I've noticed recently very, very vivid dreams, and as well as shadows. And like I said, I covered most of this in my Veil thinning video, but I've had several people reach out to me, and one person who particularly impresses me, and I'm not going to mention her name because I don't know if she wants to be brought out by name, but she is a clinical psychologist, or she was a clinical psychologist. She doesn't believe in the art, and so she left it. But this is a very educated person who told me this, and she described an event that happened to her, and I've had several other people describe similar events where they seen almost a portal, sort of a ripple in reality, and the whole atmosphere around them has changed. And see, I explained to her that I've seen these similar type of things, not in a waking state, but more in a meditative state. But that's a porthole, is what that is. And another thing that lots of people have been talking about is things coming up missing around their house, things moving around. Okay, and this is where I'm going to get a lot of detractors, and I'm going to catch a lot of shit, but I don't care. Let me do a little backtracking. My great grandmother, she was half Irish, half Native American. I can remember being over her house, and she tells me to go outside and pick leaves off a tree. For what? You didn't question grandma. She just gave me the raised gray eyebrow, and I said, okay, I'm on it. Leaves, gotcha. Come back in, and I get the leaves. She takes the leaves and she puts them on a platter, and she takes a real thin layer of honey and spreads it across these leaves. Then she takes granulated sugar and puts it in the leaves. Then she makes little rolls out of them. Then she sets those aside on the platter. And meanwhile, okay, so I hope she's not going to feed me, sugar leaves for lunch. That doesn't really sound that appealing. But hell, I was a fat kid, and I'll try anything. So I reached for one, and she gave me the grandma eyebrow again. I'm okay, no problem. And then later on, started to get dark outside, and she takes milk and pours it in a can, and once again, or pours it in a small heater, like a teapot, and starts warming it up. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, my inner fat kid's jumping for joy again. Oh, hells yeah, I'm about to get me some hot cocoa. But no hot cocoa. And the next thing I know, she's taking honey, dumping it in this milk, and she puts it on a bowl. She puts it on the tray with that. She walks outside and sets it in front of her window. And I go stand outside, and I hear her talking, and she looks up at the sky, looks down at the bowl, and she says some words that I don't understand. And I'm, what is she talking about? And what she said, and then she looks up at the sky and she says, "Tis andan blik blak moonlik meniktenik." What is she having a stroke here? What is she doing? And what she was doing was she was speaking Gaelic. She could speak fluent Gaelic. It had passed down to her, and I asked her what she was doing. And that means, by the way, and my Gaelic is bad, as is my English, as anybody knows by my mispronunciations all the time. What that means roughly is it's a big bright moonlit night tonight. And what she was doing was she was feeding who she called the little people. She was talking about the fairies, and I'm like, well, those don't exist. That's Walt Disney. The grandma eyebrow, and she said, well, if you don't believe in them, then no, they don't exist. But for me, they do. I see them. I speak to them. They move things. Sometimes they cause mischief. They help me. And like I said, and people have been noting that, and I have practiced fairy magic as well as elemental magic, chaos magic, so a couple other things. I'm kind of a general practitioner, but I have seen these, and if you watch some of my old videos, one in particular, you'll actually see but some people say it just looks like a bug, but to me, it's a sprite. You literally see it come and fly from my kitchen and then in my arm, and you see a close up of it. If you stop my video about, was it my ghost story video? I believe it's 1744. You'll see a small winged creature that comes here, flies towards me, and literally disappears. Like it flies inside of me. And like I said, and I've seen the same thing out of the window. My daughter never believed in fairies. Then I seen this sprite, and it looks like a moth when you first see it, but when you see it, it's actually in the shape of a person. Those are what we call pixies. They don't, they're not sexy little chicks and grass skirts like Tinkerbell, but they are humanoid looking. And like I said, getting back to my point, my friend, what she was describing was the opening to a fairy door. Now, a lot of people don't believe in this, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's nonsense." And you may believe the Christian belief that these were all evil creatures and demons, and to a certain extent, that may be right. That may be somewhat accurate. There are good and there are evil. There's the Seelie, and then there's the unseelie court. Um, Seelie court are supposedly the ones that don't interfere with mankind. And the unseelie are the evil ones, the gnolls that you talk about, the gnomes, the trolls on the bridges that are in all these different philosophies all across the world who didn't connect with each other, yet they all believe in them. Then there's always, in every, well, nearly every race and every culture throughout mankind, they talk about the little people or the small people or the fairies. And here's another little thing that I've been trying to explain to people. People talk all the time about, St. Patrick, and Ireland is a very Christian country, so even people in Ireland don't really know this, but there were things called hollows in Ireland, which were basically big holes in the ground, like mounds of earth with a hole in them that went down numerous. And the Gaelic people, or the Irish people who held on to these old beliefs, believed that these were the ways that the fairies came into our world. These were fairy hollows. So when St. Patrick commissioned the building of the cathedrals in Ireland, St. Patrick literally had them built over top of these. So hollowed, that's where the term on hollowed ground came from, and also the term holy or holy ground came from. Just a lot. So, why would they spend, what would be considered millions and millions of Roman dollars at the time to build over these things if there was nothing there, if nothing existed, just to, you know, smash out, people's superstitious beliefs. And like I said, I've talked to many people in different groups, and a lot of different people have been experiencing the Fae. Just like a lot of people right now are experiencing aliens. Now, there's a lot of people that are, scared to death of them, think that they're demonic. And if you don't want to mess with them, hey, don't mess with them. Take lead and put it around your windows. Take a piece of lead, put it around your windows or your doorways. Small lead chips, it doesn't matter. It dispels them if you don't like them. But if you do like them and you want to, I suggest right now is the time, because they are remaking an entrance into our world. Right now is the time to do that. And then my friend, she was all worried because of this, right? And I explained to her, I'm like, well, that was a fairy portal that you explained to me. And we had a nice long conversation, and she's a very intelligent person. She's not a crazy meted up freak or a conspiracy theorist or not. This is a very beautiful, smart, educated woman who told me this, and several other people who I spoke to who are doctors, who are lawyers, police officers. One time I heard a scream, but it was sort of a ethereal. It didn't seem like that. And I was outside talking to a cop who, I never asked his religious beliefs, but I believe he's a Christian. And I didn't say anything. but it was right behind him, and I seen the shadow, and he heard it too. So it's not just me. It's not just us crazy basement dwellers who experience these things. It's very educated, very smart people around the world. The third eye's awakening. People are coming out of this, and they're great. So that's what I said. These are great times. Of course, you have the negativity, and you have the people who are hellfire and brimstone, where everything that is not Christian is a satanic agenda. It's Illuminati. I hear that 100 times a day. Illuminati, Illuminati, Illuminati. The Illuminati were a group of philosophers, scientists, and ex-theologians in Bavaria who turned against the Catholic Church and the church's practices. They weren't Satanists. They might have been Luciferian, but they were not Satanists. They turned against that and the philosophies of the church, and eventually they disbanded. Some of their philosophies might have extended or went into some of the Masonic orders or whatever, but these aren't. There's no satanic Illuminati thing. And as I've told people, this shit that you see and this, and a lot of times I'll even do it in my videos or in my pictures. And part of that is a troll, but part of that is actually that is a deflection spell. Like when you seen Ronnie James Dio in his video, did the devil horns, put them forward, wrap them down. What that was a deflection spell against his haters, the people who wished harm upon him. That was a saying: I block you, I send it back, and then I send your negative energies down to the abyss. Ronnie James Dio was a legitimate occultist, as is Robert or Jimmy Page, as is a few of the people. I think David Bowie, to a certain extent, was. If they know that this means, cover that eye, that's covering you from the evil eye. So the only reason that I'm bringing this up now is because I think a lot of this goes into the fear mongering and misdirection, where people aren't worried about these worldwide banking cartels that basically control the religions, the banks, the political institutions, the politicians, the media. You don't pay attention to those people. You're worried about these, Lady Gaga doing this, or Jay-Z, dropping a temple. That's their own personal protection. That's what they're doing that for. Or they've seen other older artists like Bowie and Page and Bob Dylan who are legitimate occultists doing this, and they're just trying to emulate it. That doesn't even mean that they're occultists. They're just trying to emulate it. It's not that they're part of some psychotic agenda or some Luciferian or satanic agenda. Now, I'm not saying that that there's not some mind control issues that Project Monarch didn't exist, because it did, and I do believe that, yeah, probably some people do that, because you do see these stars breaking down. So I do believe, yes, that some of them are brainwashed, but do I believe that it's all psychotic, religious, satanic cult? No, it's not. It's science. You can look it up. You can look up Bill Clinton literally apologized for Project Monarch and said that, yeah, we were doing mind control. It's just look it up, Google it, do the research on your own. It was a existing thing that came over here from Nazi scientists during Project Paperclip, where people were literally trying to do mind control. And Whitey Bulger, who, rest in peace, Whitey, just murdered a few days ago. He literally was part of that. He was a petty criminal. They put him in prison, and they subjected him to this Project Monarch or I can't remember the exact name of the project. I don't sit here with notes, kind of go on the fly. But when he came out, he was a stone cold murderer. So, just a little food for thought. Those are the people you need to worry about. The globalists are the New World Order, not the occultists. The occultists, they believe what they want to do. If they want to drink, do their whole gross spirit cooking thing and hobnob with each other, that's fine. That's not hurting you. That's not affecting anybody. They're not sacrificing anybody or killing anybody or hurting anyone. They're just doing their new age fuckery because they're rich and they don't have anything else to do with their time. So, that's my point. Don't believe all the alarmists. If Nibiru was going to come, Nibiru would have came. It might come, it might not. Don't lose your mind. Don't worry about Luciferians and Satanists and demons and devils. Embrace the change. Hey, leave some leaf rats outside. Leave some warm milk and honey outside. Maybe you'll have the chance to see some things. Maybe some things will change in your life and it'll be better. Work with the elements. Light a candle. Set the candle there and practice trying to make the flame flicker. I'll do a video on this one of these days too. I can do it to a certain extent. I'm no major elementalist, but go outside and stare up at the clouds. Imagine that cloud that you see dissipating, and you'll be surprised. It will dissipate. You have the mental capacity to make changes, whether they are political, whether they are to the fabric of reality, or whether they are to just your life, to better self-betterment and self-improvement. You have that power. You can make that change. That's why I'm saying you might have doom and gloom. There might be people getting killed. It might be terrible, but it's the best of times. It's the worst of times. Great things are happening. Use this energy, use this frequency that's going on this planet right now to make great things happen for yourself, for others around you, and for the world. Don't post on Facebook about what you would like to see happen. Go make it happen. Make that change. Be the difference. Thank you. I love you all. Keep it positive and keep it real. Until next time, this is Jay Warner from Fractured Reality.